Welcome to Made in Walker, the podcast that connects you to the people, the stories, and the ideas shaping our community. From local innovators to everyday change makers, we're diving deep into what makes Walker a great place to live, work, and grow. Here's your host, Nicole DiDonato.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in to Walker's very first podcast. My name is Nicole DiDonato. I'm the communications manager for the city of Walker, and this is just another way for us to connect with our residents, our business owners, the visitors who come into Walker, and just hear the why behind some of the decisions and the things that are happening in our city. And I'm thrilled to be joined today by Mayor Gary Carey of the city of Walker. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
All right, wonderful. And we know that podcast, it's not new to the public, but it definitely is for the city, isn't it?
It is, but it's consistent with that theme of we're trying to bring new and innovative means of communicating with our community out there. And we were one of the earlier cities that adopted live streaming of our meetings and putting those meetings out there just to be transparent with our community. We jumped on the social media bandwagon very early on. And as that continues to hit its maturity phases and sometimes can be a little bit more challenging to wrestle with because everybody's a subject matter expert on certain things. I'll call that one out. But, with a podcast is being able to put, factual material out there in an informal discussion here and allow people to be able to listen to in the comfort of their cars while they're driving, maybe sitting by the fireplace this time of the year, staying warm, and instead of the book, just listening to the soothing voices of the two of us.
Yes. And we know, city government, it's not sexy, it's not glamorous, but important decisions are made, affects everybody, and it's important that they know the reasons why behind that.
Well, and one of the strongest things with Walker is that sense of community that we have, and people just feel so attached, but not over the top. In that it's a great place to live, work, and grow. And I know that's our city tagline and the brand, if you will, we've created. But it's another one of those things that people just feel connected and they know what's going on. There is a trust with the local government, and it's quite frankly, I sometimes why don't we get people that attend our meetings and come out there and actually have discussions with us? And why do I not get 5 million resident phone calls like a lot of other mayors do in any given time period? And it's just because people feel like they're informed. There is, again, that trust level that is built over time. This is just another one of those ways of getting that messaging out, and we have a lot of good stuff going on. So yeah. I'm super excited about what 2025 holds for us.
Yes, and it's a great time to actually start this kind of podcast. We had a huge year in 2024, some big road projects. We're going into 2025 with some other pretty significant ones that will affect the entire community.
Oh, you look at road and infrastructure and building projects. I mean, there's just, where do you begin with this? Hats off to our city staff, specifically our city engineer, Scott Connors. He oversaw just probably the biggest year of road construction in decades, maybe in the city's history that any of us can remember. We had so many projects going on at the same time. We know there was some short-term pain that we were going to have this summer, and we got through it, and we're better off because of it. And some of them, like the Walker Avenue and 4 Mile project, as you go through there, wow, this is really cool. Yeah. We've gotten to this point from what it used to be, and when you look to what it's going to happen in 2025, you've got the Fruit Ridge Bridge project coming. Mm-hmm. That intersection becomes very important to us because it's going to be a main thoroughfare because that bridge is going to be closed from March and through late fall of next year. So having that foresight of being able to look forward and say, we need to get these things done just to be better prepared for it are big. But so many good projects. We've put a lot on his back. Our public works team, second to none in the area. And there's some very good teams at the other municipalities. But just being able to juggle all the things that we have throughout the course of the year and construction season. And then as we get to the end of construction season on the roads and infrastructure, we break ground on the new library. So what's getting to be almost frozen ground, they're tearing that apart, taking down some of the structures that were out there where the new building's going to go. So just a lot of exciting things, and we're going to be very busy in the coming year. I don't think we're going to be lacking for new material for the podcast.
Exactly, and I want folks to know that while we are explaining some of these projects high level, we will be going into them deeper going forward. forward as we continue our podcast journey. So very
Absolutely.
excited to go into that. And the big thing I think is, why this is important to do this is that you have some pillars that are important to you in the community, and we're going to try to hit all of those throughout the year as we discuss on our podcasts.
Sure. And when I think of when I think of what is going on within the city, and I come back to from the state of the city that we do every year, the same 5 pillars that I've had as a mayor that are from the community. It's the being in touch with the community, whether I'm at Sobey Meats and I hear stuff when I'm picking up the weekly order of stuff there, or I'm in the Walker Barber Shop and you hear what's going on while sitting in the chair. You're hearing from the community that there are 5 things that are really important to them. They're incredibly consistent and they're in a very specific order. Public safety by far is the single most important thing in Walker, and it's why we have a safe community. We feel safe and secure in our yards and our houses, but even in our stores when we're out and about and stuff. And our public safety personnel, both in the police and fire departments, there's a special place in heaven for them and what they do. But we've made investments to help make their job easier, and things like our police command vehicle that we just put into service recently, and then we have on order our second platform truck for our fire department. Most communities our size don't even have one platform truck. We've made investments in 2 of them. We continue to look forward, and we know that there's a need for increased staffing for full-time for our fire department. That model that has served Walker for decades throughout our history has really evolved and changed, and we're making some decisions that are strategic in that. So we're addressing the public safety. So there's a lot of cool things going on there. A lot of investment in technology on the city's part to make sure that our public safety, that not only are we taking care of our community, but I want to make sure that our public safety teams at the city are protected and they go home to their families at night. That's of paramount importance. I think the second thing is there's this economic stability that the city has is so important, and we call it fiscal responsibility is one of the pillars of the state of the city. And when you look at where Walker's at right now, we have no long-term debt. It's very uncommon for a municipal organization of our size to not have something like that. That's allowing us to do some things with the library and maybe look at some other potential projects here in the near future. And one of the things with that fiscal responsibility, we put ourselves in a spot to be able to do things and make investments. And quite frankly, it reflects Walker and how we run our checkbooks at home, how we do our grocery shopping, and with the increased costs that take place with going to the grocery store, the restaurants nowadays. You're still going to go there because you have to, but you're being fiscally responsible maybe in what you're doing and how you're doing it. So we're modeling the behavior of what our community expects of us. I think when I look at the third thing that is really the catalyst for that fiscal stability is the commercial and industrial development in the city. We're a city income tax city. These new jobs that come into the city are of paramount importance to us because it allows us to add more firefighters, add more police officers, more public works employees, more people in different departments in the city, and allows us to make investments in our parks and grounds and things like that. So it's really important that we not lose sight of we have to continue to make those investments so that those jobs don't ever leave the community. There will be a point in time probably in the future, not too distant future, that we start to plateau on the increased jobs, but we want to keep stability with what we have in the community. So it's important to stay connected to the businesses and get out and reach to the business leaders within the community. What can we do and be doing better for you? And then, the thing that we're all, as civic leaders in the United States right now, is more housing. We want more people moving to Walker to experience what a great community is. And we talk about it being a great place to live, work, and grow. And we want people to come in here not just to shop, not just come in here to work. We want them to come live here, maybe raise families, put their roots down. And but right now, the housing is just not there to meet the demands to come into people that want to come into the community. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible, but make sure that the decision making that we have are, they're very sound. And I think the fifth thing of that pillars that we're going to talk about during the podcast is the quality of life that we have. And it's things like the new library, breaking ground for it's not just a library. It's a community gathering place. It's a beacon for the community for those to be able to see, and all are welcome there. And we want to make sure that we are emphasizing that. And then I think that goes to the parks and recreation components of our community and the special events that we do. Those have grown exponentially in the last 5-6 years, and the types of things that we do and how many that we're doing, because every time that we find another way we can connect with our community, and we don't just see city limits. The west side's the west side, and if they want to come from the east side over the river, great. They want to come from Ottawa County, great. They're all welcome here, and we just want this to be a welcoming place. So really those 5 things, we have a lot going on in 2025, a lot of things to talk about this coming year.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of things are going on, and you want these people to be part of it as well. It's important to be part of these committees that help make decisions or volunteer, this and that.
Well, and you bring up another thing. So just this morning, just going through 2025 committee appointments this morning that I'll submit to the City Commission for approval here coming up. And, one of the things in going through these is we need more people involved. One of the latest things that we started just this fall is a Mayor's Youth Academy, and this came out of the genesis of our old youth commission that we had many, many years ago. And it had kind of grown a little bit stagnant over time. And being a recovering high school football coach, I really wanted to make sure that we had a curriculum that was ongoing. So we have, over the course of the year, we'll end up in May with the students, and we have got just a rock solid group of high school students taking part of it. And actually last night was our third monthly meeting, and we actually experienced the police department last night. Okay. And they got a behind-the-scenes tour of a lot of the things the police department that the general public doesn't get to see, and they got to experience some of the new technology we've made investments in last night. We did some virtual reality training that helps our officers stay out of harm's way. It helps us interact with the community better, but these students got to experience that last night, and that's just not something that you really get to do a whole lot. And then we also had we are very proud of our investment in our drone program and how it's been able to benefit our community. And it's not just for a public safety perspective. We use it for growth and development in the city. We use it for special events of, gauging. Looking at maybe areas, how could we do this better? And the city's adopted this cadence when we do these special events or these programs. When we get done, we sit there and take a pause and reflect on what went well, what didn't, what can we do better. And being able to have some real-time footage of that to be able to reflect back to really does help. So the students got to see that last night, and we were actually doing it at nighttime, so we showed how the infrared worked and everything. And so heaven forbid you would ever have a kid wander away from their house at night. That you're able to find things even in the densest of brush. Really, again, it goes back to that theme of public safety, keeping everybody arm's way. So a lot of good things going on, but we're starting to reflect as we look in 2025, and in a couple of years, you're going to have a city commission that turns over in half. Mm-hmm. And that's the impact of term limits, whether you're in favor of it or not. And, it's something that we're going to have to be very aware of, that we're going to have people come in, and we're trying to get people that are willing to serve the community, not because of a hidden agenda, but they want to serve the community because they have that commitment to civic service. And we feel that we believe that if we can get them at the high school age, starting to think about these things, we're developing that pipeline for the future. And I'll give a little teaser that what we're doing with the Mayor's Youth Academy, we're actually going to be doing with younger adults coming up here as part of a next gen program coming up after the first of the year as well. So something very similar there to get to people that are already maybe early into their professional careers or whatever direction has taken them in, getting them involved as adults, where they might be willing at this point to step onto a community, maybe step into public office after some community or committee service there.
Sure. And this is so exciting, and we could probably talk forever about this. Of course, we have plenty more episodes to go, so thank you so much, Mayor Carey, for helping us introduce this podcast as well. Just another way for us to connect with the residents, visitors, business owners of our city. We look forward to you tuning in next time.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Made in Walker podcast. If you have comments or questions about this podcast, or if you have suggestions for future episodes, we'd love to hear from you. Please drop us an email at podcast@walker.city. Made in Walker is the official podcast of the city of Walker, Michigan. You can find Made in Walker wherever you get your podcasts.